Hey all, Baruch Levy B here from Soul Centered. Thanks for tuning in, letting everybody get online. We're now live on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn and maybe Instagram. I don't know. There's just so many different platforms. So wherever this finds you, I'm glad it found you. I'm glad you found me, and glad we can have this conversation, which we've had before, but we're going to have it again. And it's all about our why. I had this conversation with you at least once before, but maybe multiple times, because it's the conversation I have with clients every single day. I am a logo therapist, a meaning centered guide, a therapist, I don't know, life coach, executive coach. A lot of my clients um, are professionals. And we talk about our why. You know, we would never expect a business to succeed if it didn't have a clearly articulated, they would call it a vision mission statement. If they didn't have a clearly articulated why. Those companies that don't succeed don't have a why, don't know their why, don't communicate their why. That makes perfect sense to us, to my clients in the business world. And so I'll ask that same businessman or woman, that same professional, okay, so tell me your business why, your professional organizations why, whatever it is you're involved with, no problem. Here's the why. But then I say, now tell me your personal why. What's your why? And they look at me like blank stare. And it dawns on them every single time they either don't have a why, or they don't really know their why, or when they try and articulate their why, it doesn't come out so readily, so easily. And it doesn't. I mean, we can have the ingredients of our why. What's our why? The best way I can describe it is how Dr. Viktor Frankl, my teacher, founder of logotherapy, talks about it, quoting Nietzsche. And he says, he or she who has a why to live for can endure anyhow. So your why is that thing that you live for, but not just mountaintop moments, as I call them, not just, vacations and celebrations and the good times. That's great, but you don't really need a why so much. I think you do, to go to the next level, to be fully present and conscious, but you don't need to endure those moments because they're joyous by definition, like they're just easy. You need your why in the time, at the times you have to endure a how. What is a how? A how is, how do you get up the day after your loved one has died and continue to take care of your kids and continue to pay the bills and live your life? Your how is, how do you open your heart again after a divorce when you've gone through hell and go back out into the world? I have lots of clients going through divorce, have gone through divorce, letting go of that pain and that hurt and that anguish and opening up their heart again. It's a Herculean task. Lots of clients who are retiring, going into retirement, and don't know how to reimagine themselves or their lives. How do you endure a job that is not your calling, but you don't have the luxury of retiring or necessarily finding a new job? I challenge you on that, and I'll help you do that. But you're stuck for now. And so, how do you endure it? How do you stay in a relationship, in a marriage that you don't know if it has what you need in this lifetime anymore? And how do you leave it? How do you move forward in your life? There's just so many hows, but those are the moments when, if you don't know your why, it is so hard to endure your how. So lots of people will say to me, B, I'd love to work with you, but I'm really not going through any what you call life's T's, transitions, tests, trials, traumas, tragedies. First of all, that's never true. We're always going through at least a transition of our identity, of relationships, of our professional aspirations. Maybe our kids are going through process and we have to help them. So we're always going through transition. And if not, then we're not living big enough and large enough, because our lives should be evolving and growing and changing all the time. But it's great. I'll say to somebody, great. So let's do the work now so that when you hit the how, you're ready. When you hit the life T, transition, trial, trauma, tragedy, forgot one. When you hit that moment, you don't start scrambling for tools, for resources, for your why, for your personal vision and mission of why you are here. I can tell you from personal experience, when I have had my why, I can turn to it in a moment's notice. I'm not just talking some vague idea of why. Every single day, I repeat, I'm not going to share it here, it's very personal, but it's actually 3 paragraphs. That's mine. I'm an Enneagram 8. I overdo everything, but you don't have to. I mean, lots of great mission purpose statements are one line. Mine happens to be very substantial. And I turn to it. I turn to it like Catholic turns to the rosary, like the Jew turns to the Shema. I turn to my why, my purpose statement, and I recite it. You know, you might even like see me if you see me just kind of mumbling to myself. Sometimes I'll put in my AirPods, which I think is such a gift to have AirPods, walk down the street and just talk to yourself. You know, you could do it without the AirPods, but something feels very natural. You're walking down the street, just talking to myself with the AirPods in. People think I'm talking to somebody. I am. I'm talking to myself. I'm reminding myself of my purpose, realigning myself with my values in that purpose statement. Just like in a business, you have vision, mission, and values. Articulated my values. So when the shit hits the fan, I don't have to start thinking about my priority. I go to it. I can literally list them off. And I can go down this hierarchy, and I'll start doing that in my own life and seeing what's out of alignment, what's not measuring up here. And so successful people out in the world, in their professional lives, in their businesses, they would never run their business without this level of clarity. And yet we run our lives and we wonder why, when we hit those crossroads, we're confused, we're lost, we don't have that same sense of mastery. That's what I want in my life more than anything else, is mastery. That's my word. I want mastery, not over other people, not over my circumstances, because as Dr. Frankl talks about, you or I will never be able to master our circumstances by definition. They're not ours. They're outside of us. The only thing I can ever master is my ability to choose not to react to those circumstances, to choose how to respond to those circumstances. One of my core values, responsibility, the ability to respond to whatever one of those T's might be, the transitions, tests, trials, traumas, and tragedies. Can I change the tragedy? I can't change it. Can I change the circumstances? I can't do a damn thing about the circumstances. Can I change my response? Unequivocally and absolutely. But it's like anything else, it's a muscle. If I wait to the crossroads, if I wait till I'm overwhelmed, if I'm wait till I'm lost in the confusion and then I try and cobble it together, I can do it and you can do it. And come to me if you're at that place, if you're at that life T, and we will start to articulate your why and live your why. But don't wait until you're desperate. Don't wait until it's difficult. Start now. There's so many ways we can learn to articulate our why. Here's a great tool for you. It's free. Go over to the VIA, Values Institute. I just blanked on what it stands for. It's from Positive Psychology, VIA. I'll have clients take the VIA test, and it gives you top 22 values or something, and it helps you rank order your values, because you can say XYZ is a value. And then you really take this test and it helps you see, maybe it's not such a value. And maybe I need to be honest about that. Or maybe I need to move it up higher in the list. And we look at those values as an example of one tool, of one resource. And that's a free one. You don't need me. You don't need to pay. You just go to VIA and do the Values Institute program. then we can bring that back and we can really start exploring each one of those values and decide where it fits into our life, or if it does fit into our life. And so that when we come to the life's tea, we have done some work, we have thought it through, we are far more prepared to endure our how. Here's another big one I'm using, and I've been talking a lot about it, the Enneagram. The Enneagram is the single best tool, the single best resource in my life I have ever found, personally and professionally, to figure out my why and how to endure my how. And we use the Enneagram to figure out our natural reaction, how I react. I react like an 8. You might react like a 6. Knowing what that means, knowing the patterns that are going to happen, because it's natural when you come to the crossroads. And now I'm prepared. And now I have agency. I have understanding. I have choice. I don't want to respond like an 8. I want to respond more like a 9. You don't have to understand it. But I start having choice. I start seeing the roadmap. I start taking back my power. Because when you come to these life's crossroads, these life's teas, you feel powerless. You feel like you don't have the mastery that you have in the other areas of your life, especially if you're professional. You're so used to having mastery in your business, in your professional life. And then you come over here to the personal side, to the emotional side, to the spiritual side, and you don't have that mastery. It's jarring, it's overwhelming, it's disheartening. Let's do the work proactively to get ready for those moments when they come. And here's all I can promise you in life: they will come. I don't know you, or if I do know you, I can still guarantee you that life's teas will descend upon you and into your life many times, time and time again. So know they're out there, and know they're coming, and know you don't have to live in fear. You can do something about it right here, right now, by learning your why, articulating your why, and living your why to endure anyhow. I would love to get to know you. I would love to hear about your why. I would love to work with you on understanding your why, articulating your why, and living your why in your life. Shoot me an email, b@mysoulcentered.org. Jump over to the Soul Centered website, or now you can just Google or put in the address bar, defiantspirit.org. Defiantspirit.org, which is where I'm parking my work around the Defiant Spirit, which is this stuff about finding your why. Love to hear from you. Love to work from you. Until the next time, shalom, salam, namaste. Peace. Know your why. Endure your how.